Good morning, it's Marg with Creative Stamping with Marg. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. I have a fun little, I'm going to call it a technique instead of a layout today, but I'd never tried it. It's called Pleated Paper Fold Technique, and I saw it, Julie Davison, another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, had done it, and I'd never ever tried it. So I thought, I'm going to try this. Now, to me, it's a feminine technique, so it would lend itself to a feminine card. So I will show you what we're going to start with today. We're going to use one of our new colors, Bubble Bath. This is my card base. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it will fold this way. I will give that a bit of a burnish so that it'll lay flat for us. Okay, that's our card base. We need a piece of basic white for the outside that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and it's going to go up here. That'll be where we have our sentiment. And you need a piece of DSP, and you cannot use the 6 by 6 paper. You need to have a bigger piece of paper, so a 12 by 12 works good. So the piece is 3 inches by 8 1/4, and it is, you're going to take your straight 3-inch piece. I've already cut mine off, as you can see. You're going to score it at 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 7 inches. And then you have to decide which side of the paper you want to be showing the most and which side you want showing just a little bit. I'll show you what I mean when I fold it up. Now, once you've got your scoring in, you're going to put it into your trimmer. I should have maybe brought my trimmer so that you could see me do this. All right, my trimmer is here. I just make some space for it. Okay. So my piece of paper was like this, 3 inches by 8 1/4. I scored it at 3, 4, 6, and 7. Then I put it in my trimmer. I'll pretend it's like this. And you can mark on one end, on the end that's got the littlest piece that's folded. This is a bigger piece, 1 inch down. What I did is I just put it into my trimmer and I matched that corner up to 1 inch. And then I know that's where it needs to be. And then it goes, the other end goes into the, cutting slot here where you have it. I didn't do a very good job of this either. Where you have it folded. So I actually would like to do that again, I think, because I didn't cut it very well. There. Okay, that's good. So then you cut it off like that. Then you're going to see this slanted edge, which is your bottom. So that's another thing. If your paper has a direction, you want to make sure that that slanted cut is on the bottom. Now, when you're folding it up, you're going to fold the first fold like this. Get this out of the way. And you're going to burnish it and making sure that your top edge is nice and straight. Then you're going to go back and burnish it. This one forward, burnish it, and this. You'll know once you get going. So then it looks like a pleated, well, a pleated paper. I think it's very interesting. So again, you need to have a piece of DSP that you like both sides of and that has something interesting. And I'm going to show you some other samples that I've done on retired paper, but that gives you some kind of ideas. Okay, so that's what it looks like. That's your pleated piece. So essentially, she had her white paper here with a greeting on it. She had her pleated piece, just overlapping it like that. And then she had a piece of extra cardstock that she had cut. So this piece is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. And she had just put it across like that, just to break it up and kind of anchor that down. So I like the look of that. And then some kind of focal point, a die cut or something. I'll show you some ideas. What I like to do with my pleated piece is, bring in my silicone mat here. Oops. I didn't like it loose like that. So what I ended up doing was taking my Stamp and Seal and just the top edge, just sort of anchoring, sort of anchoring it down so that it stays put just at the top. I don't want it anchored underneath because I like that kind of loose part. But just so these pieces, sorry, I gotta get it going here. Just so these loose pieces at the top will lay a bit flatter. And I even put this one down a little bit, like that, so that they lay, but I don't want them tacked down at the bottom. I want them to be loose. But that helped me when I went to put my piece of paper on. Now with this piece of paper and this particular card, I thought, I laid it out like this and I looked at it and I thought, well, this is Garden Green, which is a coordinating color with this. I didn't tell you where I got this paper from. This is the Delightfully Eclectic paper, that big package of paper that's in the annual catalog. And the card base is Bubble Bath. I think I said that. And this coordinating color is green. So I didn't mind that, but I thought, oh, let's jazz this one up a little bit. So I took a piece of Bubble Bath and I am using the Color and Contour bundle. And in that bundle, there's all these fun dies. And I used this die to cut out a basic white piece to go on the inside of my card because I thought, oh, that'll be good. So I used it already. But I thought, what if I cut another piece of Bubble Bath cardstock? And this one was, I think I cut it 1 inch by 4 1/4. And I just laid the die on the piece of paper, as you can see, just like that, and scalloped the edge of it. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So then I thought I could lay this green piece on top like that. And I've got a little scalloped edge underneath, which I really like. So that's what we're going to do with this piece. And I'm going to use my liquid glue and attach those 2 pieces right now while we're talking. So this piece was 1/2 inch by 4 1/4, and the Bubble Bath piece was 1 inch by 4 1/4. And then I'm just going to lay this on here, and it's going to cover up that stitching, which I didn't really want to see that stitching, but I just like the look of the scalloped edge on it. I think that turned out really good. So then I can glue this right to the top of my paper. Now, you can have it right on the edge of your paper, or if you wanted it up higher, you wanted to show more of the paper off, it's entirely your decision. Because when we go to place this, you know, it's however much you want to take up. I personally like it just on the very edge of my pleated piece. So I'm just going to put glue on the top here of this piece. I'm going to have to get a new bottle of glue right away. Seem to be running out. So I'm just going to put it right along the top edge, and I see it's not quite meeting up here, but I think we'll do it that way. I can turn and look at it this way. It looks good. This side's up a bit. There we go. All right. So we're pretty much ready to put this together. Now I've already done my stamping because you guys don't need to watch that. I used Bubble Bath ink and I stamped the words Happy Birthday up in the corner because I am going to put some kind of a focal point here. The Happy Birthday came from beautiful balloon set, and on the inside, on that scalloped piece that you saw, I stamped, I think it's time for a celebration, which also comes from the beautiful balloons. And then I did some leaf stamping, and I'll show you where I got those from. All right, put this over here. Okay, so I think we can glue this down. Now this again, you have to decide before you get going with this where you are going to put your focal point. And because of the way the ruffles go, This is the widest piece that has nothing, so to me the focal point needs to go here, not here. So I'm going to glue this piece down. Definitely I'm going to have to get some new glue. This is not working, or use my seal, because I seem to be possibly out of glue here. All right, so when I put this piece on, I centered it side to side, top, side to side, and at the top, tried to make it even with an even edge. So that sort of guides where that goes. So I glued that one on first. Then with this piece, you can put it wherever you like. I did like a little extra edge at the bottom, just so you can see. You could put it all the way down. That looks fine too. Maybe this one I will put all the way down. So when I go to glue this, I just glue this whole piece here and all the way along the top, and just this piece. I don't glue those ruffles down. So, like I said to you, I kind of wanted those little ruffles to be loose, but I do like this main piece that was the 3-inch piece glued down, but just the top edge of that. And then I think I will put it right at the bottom this time. That'll be something different from my other samples that I'm going to show you. Just have to get it positioned in here. And I did find a couple of times when I was cutting this piece, once I folded it up, if it was hanging over the edge a little bit, you can trim it off. All right, so that's what that looks like, simple. Now, I do see it is hanging off the edge a little bit here, so that doesn't make me very happy. So I am going to just see if I can trim that piece off just a little bit. That looks good. Okay, so we're good with that. Now you can see where I did not glue the rest of this down. Okay, now it still looks pretty bare. So I was looking for a flower in my stash of stamp sets, and I came across my Color and Contour, and I thought, well, that flower would work out okay. So I tried a bunch of different things, but I ended up stamping it with Bubble Bath on Bubble Bath cardstock, so, and cutting it out with the die that goes with it. And the center, I wanted the center to be dark, like these ones are dark. I couldn't, there is no center in here. So I tried my sponge dauber and I didn't like the way it looked. So I ended up getting a Q-tip out, and I don't have Berry Burst ink, which I think is what is in the center here, but I do have Melon Mambo. So I just took a Q-tip and I dipped it in my Melon Mambo, and then I just stamped it a few times, and that worked out good. And I like the way that that looked. So there's something I had to come up with. Now it still looks a little bare here. So I thought maybe some greenery would be a good idea. So I just went through my dies just to see what I had for leaves that I could cut out. And I came across Cottage Wreaths, and they've got a bunch of small dies with leaves, but anything would have worked. And I have a lot of retired sets that have leaves in them, but I thought these worked. So I cut out a bunch of leaves, and I thought I would put them behind this flower, and that would accentuate it a little bit here. So I think what I will do is I'm just going to attach the leaves to the flower itself, and then I might put the flower, I think I'll put the flower up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on all 3 of these and stick them right to the back of the flower. These are a little fragile. Okay, so I'm going to stick them to the back of this flower, maybe one there, like that. And I have to decide, I don't want to cover up my words, so I have to decide where I want to put these. And this one can just be sticking out maybe, and this one here, like that. So then I'm just going to put that on there. I think that looks okay. in the back so you can see it. I will use a dimensional or two on the flower itself. And I could have used my bone folder a little bit and given this flower a little bit of dimension because it's kind of flat. You know me, I really like using a pencil or a pen just to get that nice roll in it. There we go, that maybe is not so flat now. All right, I will put some dimensionals on the back, just maybe 2 is all we need. Whoops. Like that. Not using any ribbon on this card, but I did pull some embellishments, so I'll see what we think. Okay, I think I'm going to just do that. There we go. There's our card. So I think it turned out pretty good. Now I did pull out the pastel adhesive backed sequins. They come in 2 sizes. And the pink says it's petal pink, but I think it looked okay on here. So I'm going to use that on here. I just have to decide where I'm going to put them. I'll use my take your pick tool. That's an easy way to pull them off. And maybe have one up there. I'm just going to use the small ones this time, I think. Just like that. Okay, so that's the outside of our card all done. Just like that. We could have used some Wink of Stella in the center of our flower if we'd wanted. That'll give it a little bit of a shine. And I'm going to put my piece in here. Now for this piece, I used, for both greetings, I used the Beautiful Balloons stamp set. I stamped it in Bubble Bath, and then I took the leaf from the cottage wreaths. There's a leaf, whoopsie, there's a leaf stamp in here, and I stamped it off 3 times actually, and I put it on here. I did cover up some of my words, which I wasn't all that happy with after I did it, but I thought, oh, it looks okay. So I'm going to put that in here. And I did have a piece of scrap paper cut out because I thought, oh, maybe I will put that on there. Okay, just stick this in here. But I just didn't know if I wanted it in here or not after I kind of cut this out kind of fancy, but I kind of like it. So maybe I will put it in underneath there. There we go. So let's just see if I want this here. I'll just put that like that and slip this underneath. Maybe I'll do it like this, just at the bottom. There. All right, so got our little straight piece in there. It is sticking out a little bit, so I just turn it over and trim it off like that. All right, so there's our card. Done. So that's called the pleated paper fold technique. I think it turned out really cute. And again, like I said, it is a technique that I think lends itself to a more female card, but I really like the technique. So there's that. And it was quick and easy. It's just, this is probably the hardest part, or it takes the most time. It's not hard. I will show you a couple of other cards that I had made. Both of these were hand penned, from the hand penned paper. This one was that paper. And so the pleated technique was done there. And this is a piece of cardstock, and I ran it through an embossing folder just to give it a different look. I stamped my greeting there, and then I just used a retired oval and cut a piece of the paper, which is the other side of this, and put it here as the focal point, and then some embellishments. The inside, I just added an extra piece of that embossed, and there it is there. So that was a quick and easy one. This one, this is from the hand pen set, and I think that's a beautiful focal point. This is retired paper that I used here for this. And this is Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo in black is always nice. Now this one I used a ribbon instead of the extra cardstock piece here. So I had a piece of Melon Mambo ribbon and I put it there. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I did some splattering with my black Stampin' Right marker on there, just to add a little something. And the inside of this one, I think I used, the deckled rectangles again. And I didn't use an extra piece of paper. This is a birthday card, so it says enjoy all the little moments. That actually comes from our Easter Bunny set. And then Happy Birthday came from the balloon set. So those are the 3 cards. And again, like I said, I feel that it is sort of a feminine thing, but I like the way they all turned out. It is pretty quick and easy to do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel, and then you won't miss any of my, when I release a new video. It's usually every Tuesday morning. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a try. It's not hard. I'll have all the measurements for this card underneath the video. And I even will have a picture of how you cut, like a template of how you cut that, because it's not hard, but I think it would help if you had a template. So I'll put the template in there also for you. Okay, hope everyone has a good week.